Okay, there goes recording. So what I want to do is I'm gonna go over the 4 hour time frame and break down what to look for everyone. So the first thing I see, if I look at this chart, this is gold, by the way, and XAU USD and GC1 and MGC is all the same exact chart. So if you do Forex, options, or futures, it doesn't matter. You're all looking at the same exact chart. You're all looking for the same exact information for your trade. Okay. So the first thing you want to look for, let me go back a little bit. So if you're in the Discord, you kind of understand. If you look down here, you kind of look for the trade is kind of presented to you already. But if you don't know, indication is what you're looking for in this trade. So we're gonna mark up some of the things. Somebody asked me how do I draw my buyers and sellers. So I'm gonna draw it here. We'll start it from the very beginning here. Okay. So the first thing you will recognize is the sellers is where it stops going up. Okay. And the buyers is where it stopped going down. So if I'm to go here, I see the top of this body of this candle here. I'm gonna go from this candle of the body to the wick to the top. Okay. So for me, that is my
that's why I meant to do. I'm coming back down.
So that's what I look for my trade for sellers buyers, right?
All right, I'll unmarry it.
I can't help it. I'm OCD a little bit with this, so I have to draw it. But for the chat, for my Discord, they understand. They see this here, right? They already see the shape of here, right? So our indication is it wants to stop going down because we have these, buyers right here, and it starts to go back up. That is the first indication, right? But I had to draw that just to draw it. You understand? But you look for your sellers at the top and your buyers at the bottom. So we go from the lowest body to the lowest wick, right? These are our buyers right here.
Hold on, I'm coming.
So we have our buyers and our sellers between here, okay? So if I was to say between the top of these sellers and the bottom of these buyers going this way, okay? So make sure you understand we're going this way because the candles print to the right, okay? So if I said going this way, and we have buyers down here and sellers up here, did it go above or below on the chart? Okay. So you will see if you look at this was the top and this was the bottom, going this way, the first place to hit is here, right? Our first indication that it wants to be a buy is this. Okay. So like I said, I'm just going to go over indication, but I'm going to go over the full trade.
Go down.
So I get a full scope of what to look for. Okay. So you get your indication right here first. Once we get our indication, then you see it what corrects. Now, what is correction? Okay. So I'm not gonna go too much in depth in it. I'm just gonna show you how the trade plays out. But this is exactly what it did. It stayed in between here, the buyers and sellers. It gave us an indication above here. It corrected here. It respected these sellers. So now the sellers back here become the buyers right here now. Okay. So we have previous sellers. We have our indication of wants to go above these sellers, become a buy. It corrects back to these sellers, which turn these into buyers. It stays above here, and that's how you get our trade to the upside. Okay. So that's the simplest way to kind of break it down. So on the lower time frame, I'm gonna show you exactly what to look for too, because I know a lot of times we'll post some information or a chart on the 1 minute time frame, and some of y'all will be asking, where's the ICC full setup? And sometimes you do not get a full setup on your trades. It looks like you will, but sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you do not get a full setup on your trade. You'll just get some of the trade, and you have to use kind of the trader's intuition to realize, oh, okay, it's going to the TP, it's not coming back. Okay. So for example, let me erase this, and we're gonna go to the hour time frame to look for the same information. So I'm gonna erase everything and go to the hour time frame. So whenever I do my charts, I always erase everything and do it again just for muscle memory to practice. So that was on a 4 hour. Let's go to the 1 hour. See what we look for. So if I was to look on the 1 hour and I was to open up this chart, what I would look at is the top, obviously, is sellers. The bottom is buyers. I have a indicator on here. As you see, it gives me this consolidation. So above the consolidation is sellers, below the consolidation is buyers. Okay, so it kind of gives me a kind of little cheat sheet, right?
I'm just like
you want to make trading easy. You don't want to make things difficult.
No,
yes, I can see it without this, but if it's giving me the information, why not take it? So I'm going to start here because this is the farthest left that I see that I'm starting on. This is Sunday, okay? So we have a good week of data in this trade, right? Side goes back 3 sessions, for example. You can look at that like 3 days, or you can look at 3 sessions as one day, depending on how he kind of words it, right? 3 sessions could be from Asia or the last New York to Asia to London to back to New York, or it could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a day trade Thursday. So for me, my furthest left, this is where my sellers are. So I'm gonna go to the body of this candle, to the top of this wick. I'm gonna mark out my sellers, right? And I'm gonna say what to look for. So we have our sellers at the top, our buyers at the bottom, right? So we go to our lowest, right? So our lowest body of our candle is this one. So these are where the buyers are, right? And I'm gonna show you an example of how you know if you did it right.
Order filled.
So you see how I drew these buyers back here? In the future, if I draw it right, it's gonna respect it like here, okay? So I don't have to do too much of guessing that I draw right is in the right place. Well, if that level is respected, it's gonna be like this. It's just gonna stop here. All it did will respect these previous buyers. And it's the 1 hour time frame, so that's why it pushes up exactly from that spot, okay? So then we have our buyers here and sellers here. Now remember, the same thing I did on 4 hour, right? If I said we're going this way, right? From our buyers and sellers on the top, right? Sellers at the top, buyers on the bottom. If we're going this way, where's the first place it goes out or up? You see it's here? So this is a little indication and wants to be a buy, right? If we continue to go forward, you see, because you got to look at the information down here, it stops at these buyers down here. If we continue to go up, we see a lot of indication right here. What does it do after it gives us that indication? It corrects, right? It closes above the correction, and I will enter my trade above the correction. Now, if you have full trust in your trade, right, this would be my right here, right, above the correction, because what it do is it goes above the correction, it pushes up, it consolidates, it corrects again, and then it continues to go up, right? Some people like to get in off, for example, side doesn't wait for it to close all the way sometime. He'll see it push up above the sellers and he'll jump into a trade, right? Because he trusts his setups, right? And he has a stop loss in place. Now, let me show you for your stop loss, because I know somebody's going to ask me that as well. Where will you draw your stop loss? So the position is a long trade, right? If this is my buy and I'm entering here, say I just want, because you don't have these candles yet, I'll look to my left to see if I see anything as far as candles above. All right, so she's a new all-time high. So if it's a new all-time high, you got to go to like a 2-to-1 ratio, and then you'll see a ratio right here. So you see right here, the quantity, risk reward. So it can be 1-to-1. You put it as a 1, right? 1-to-1 ratio, right? But you never really want to risk. You want to make twice as much, right? So you want to at least do a 2-to-1 when you trade at minimum, 2-to-1. And this is going to change also as far as the way all the way up, as far as the rest right here, right? So we don't want it to come back to these sellers. And honestly, I don't want it to come back past this consolidation. This is me personal, right? I don't want to push past this consolidation, or at minimum, I don't want to go past back here, right? But you see this here? It creates a bigger trade. So I have less to risk. So I could close this down so it's at 2, because I want a 2-to-1 ratio. I want to make double of my money at minimum if I'm trading. That's the whole point. And I just want it to come to here, okay? And as you see, this is my entry. It comes up, it goes sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, for almost a whole day, right? It consolidates, and then it pushes up, right? So think of this also, right? So while it's consolidating, what is consolidation? Let's look at this again, right? So if you look at the consolidation from the top, we have sellers, right? The bottom, we have buyers. Consolidation is all the same. So consolidating here, here, here. Where's our indication? Here, this first candle here. It goes up, it comes back, and then you see the bottom of the candle is here. This is where the buy opens here, and then it continues to push up. So that's kind of how you read it on the 1 hour. Now I'm going to go down to the 1 minute, because a lot of people miss the trades because they're waiting for the full setup on the higher time frame. The full setup on a higher time frame is consistent with swing trades. Okay, so if you want to swing trade, you want to hold a trade for a long time, that's why you would do that, okay? but you're not going to do that on a lower time frame, right? You got to see the setup and probably jump out of it, right? And consolidation for us is the orb. We trade the orb. Orb has a high and a low, and either pushes up or down, right? So, matter of fact, let me show you the 1 minute now, and I'm gonna show you the current price of what it's doing. So this is gold at the open right now on the 1 minute. So okay, so this is it. It pushed down right here, all right? And then what I told you, so you ever buy consolidation? The top is what? Sellers, the bottom is buyers. If I did this, right, this is just the market is open right now. If I told you this was the last consolidation, right? So these are the sellers and these are the buyers down here, right? Which one does it go to first? It goes to the buyers. It comes down, and now we have sellers as well. So we have indication. Hold on, let me show you. So you have indication on both sides. So how would you trade the 1 minute? You see how 1 minute it has a lot more noise in your trade? So this is what you would look for. So we have indication right here, and we have indication right here. Then it comes up here, right? So what would you do? This type of trade? Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you. I don't mind showing you my tricks. Look, so we have our consolidation right here. This is the high. This is the low. You would do like this, right? You look at the body of this previous candle, the low, which is here. It has the break pass here in order for it to be a sell, right? So I would come right here. I will add an alert, right? If it crosses down below this price, I'm looking for a sell. If it crosses up above this previous candle here, I'm looking for a buy. So you could cross them up. So now I have my trade both ways. If it pulls down here, it gives me my indication, right? It shot all the way up, it corrected, and then it continued to fall. If I said how far do I think it can go down, I will always look to my left, right? If I look to my first left, is this wick down here. If I do it correctly, it should touch right here. So every single time I do a trade, I'm looking for the same information, no matter how big the time frame is, or how small the time frame is, or how much is moving in the trade, right? So now it pushed up, right? So it grabbed liquidity from here, and then we have it give us the indication again. It came up, as you see. Look, we're stopping at right now, the current trade as we're talking, right? It's exactly on this alert price, right? So this is the area that's important to the market, right? To pay attention to. So you see, let's go to higher time frame, which you'll see on higher time frame. On the 4 hour, you're going to see nothing, none of that, right? You see this? On the 4 hour, it's just creating higher lows. That's what you see on the 4 hour, right? And then you have this giant candle to the drop because this is all-time high. So what is this on the 4 hour? This all the way up here is sellers. So we have our sellers all the way at the top. And what do we have right here? Keep it simple, right? You had 3 candles. It stopped going up and it stopped going down. So we have buyers right here. Okay. So we have our lowest wick to our lowest body. Just here, double click this. We have our buyers right here, right? So what did it do when it pushed up? It pushed up, right, to the sellers. It came back to the buyers. And what did it do? Respected these buyers after it pushed down and closed all the way back up here.
Order filled.
And now we have higher lows being formed back to the upside. All right. So that's information you look for. And if you don't know, right, because we don't have previous highs that go above it, because, so we have, all right, for example, we have this level here, right? So say I draw this here for you. Draw another one. So I would draw my rectangles. I will go to the highest body, the highest wick, which is here, right? So I'll really use this one right here, this wick right here. So all of this is my sellers, right? So, and then to look at the date, just look at the bottom of your chart, okay? So right here, and you look down, this is Thursday, October 16th, okay? We had our sellers here. So we have the highest body to the highest wick. And if I go to the future, look where it stops. Exactly
Order
here.
filled.
So it's just putting all the information together on a trade, right? I'm not saying I'm right 100% of the times, but I know exactly what to look for in a trade to give me the information for my take profit, for where I want it to go, where I want it to drop, where I want it to stop at. You're getting all that information in your trade every single time from the information that's on the chart. You don't have to guess. You don't have to say, "Oh, how high do you think you can go?" All I got to do is go to my left of my chart and I'm looking at information, right? But like I said, I mean, let me go back to show you an example of indication on the market. Let me erase everything one more time so you can see it. Hold on. I use something wholly different. I'm going to use NQ so you can see something different. And we're going to go to the last New York session open, okay? I'm looking for, this was a pretty easy trade. We had 8:30, okay, here. Here's our orb, okay? So the orb is just the first 15 minutes of the market, right? So one more time, let me show you this. I'm going to erase everything, and I'm going to say, example, right, to look for indication. If this is our low, right? So look at this like before, right? These are our sellers, right? And then we're going to go here. These are our buyers, right? And if I say going this way, did it go up first or down first? And you would say, okay, cool, it went down first. So right here is our indication. So if I was to say, what are we looking for right now? We're looking for sales because of this indication right here. It gave us an indication it wanted to be a sell. It's not saying it's going to be a sell right away. It's just saying, okay, the sellers have more in the market right now. So what does it do? After it gives the indication, it corrects, and then it continues to fall down. I'm going to draw that. I don't know that. But that's how you would see it. It corrects, and then it continues to fall like that, right? And if you look, it just continued to drop. Did the same thing, right? As it was falling, it corrected and continued to fall. So this was, hold on, let me show you the type of day you could have made money-wise off this trade. And the entry is what? After the consolidation. So you could right-click on your trade, enter a sell below here. You want it below the indication. And let's play it. Let me show you. You could have made type of trade. You know, micro is just a one. So this is the type of trade you could have made on Monday with us. And I'm stopping here. So quick 6,000 on this trade, right? And this was time wise. So if this is the indication, I'm gonna show you this is your entry here, right? Because and it's also below the consolidation. So all it did was open up, it gave us indication, it consolidated and broke below the consolidation. Right here, this is our entry below the indication, pull down, and time wise, this is 9:04, and you made 6,000 by 10:19. So an hour and 15 minutes you were in the market and you made $6,000 using a very safe small number. I know it look like a 10, but 10 is just a one on regular NQ. So you can make a bunch of money with these type of trades. You don't have to spend a bunch of time trading. You don't have to spend a bunch of capital trading, but this is how you can set your trades up. You can do the setups and make a lot of money in all your trades. Okay. So I'm gonna show you indication on one more thing so you can see it. Somebody do me a favor, just type something in the chat and I'll go over any chart that I picked so I can show y'all. Because I want to make sure y'all, yes, y'all get it. It's more important than me getting it. MYM. This is MYM. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to the orb so you can see the beginning. If you kind of look at it, right? If y'all look at this, and I'll go over this over too. Even if I don't do anything yet, right? Y'all see it, right? You see how it gives us our, right? Somebody was going to ask me, if it gives the indication on both sides, what do you do? Well, I kind of showed you already, right? So this is the top, right? These are our sellers. These are our buyers, right? So we have both, right? If you go first here, you see it pulls up here and never goes what? Over the consolidation again, right? So we're not looking for a buy. And this way, if we look for sells, it gives us our indication for a sell. Then what it does, it breaks the consolidation first, right? So if our first indication is the top, it doesn't break above the consolidation, no trade. If our second indication is the sell, and then it breaks the consolidation, well, we'll be looking for it to break the consolidation. This would be our trade. As you see, it pulls back to the same level it was before for these sellers, right? And you'll see how much are they gonna pull back. Should I sell? Should I get out? I'm gonna show you what to look for. So you see this fair value gap here? It has to come back and grab liquidity from this fair value gap. I always know exactly what to look for a trade, the information. Because it does the same thing every single time, and I'm only looking for the same setup every single time. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, right? And if somebody was asking me, so how do you see an ICC setup on this? Well, if we keep it simple, it is breakout from here, indication, correction, continuation. So I tell myself I cracked the code on trading because I don't just stop on certain things. I look for the same thing every single time. I don't care if it's the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15 minute, the 1 month, the 1 day. I look for the same setup and get the same information every single time for every single trade. That's how I was able to make 8,000 on Friday, right? And I do all my stuff in front of the chat. I'll explain to them why I'm getting into a trade, and they'll see how we're doing it together. Okay. So that's that. What somebody else said. First 15 minutes is the orb. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's the yeah, the consolidation indicator is really good. I use that a lot. It gives me a lot of information on trade. And also, y'all, let me show you another cheat code. So somebody was asking me about different candles. So hold on, let me erase everything real quick. I'm gonna show y'all to look for. So this is something new. I didn't do it yet, but I'm gonna show y'all in real time. And then this is the last thing we'll go over. So y'all see the Heiken Ashi candles? Well, the Heiken Ashi candles give you the average of each candle. So it may not be accurate as far as your profits and your loss. So your candle might be like this, and it might be a bigger loss, or it might be a bigger profit. But this gives you the average of the candles, right? So if I'm looking at this Heiken Ashi candles and I'm seeing these sellers clearly have it, right? I'm just watching the sellers take over, and I'm holding myself a little longer. And for example, let's go back. So I can show you in real time. Matter of fact, I can't even do that. Okay, let me show you something else you can do. You can't do replay on Heiken Ashi candles. But what you can do is there's an indicator for it. So yeah, so you can use the Heiken Ashi indicator, which gives you the same colors, right? So when I go to replay it, I can actually replay it, right? So if my indicator is telling me it's a sell, and I'm recognizing that it's going to grab liquidity from this fair value gap back here, all I'm going to do is I do this. I'm going to enter my sell down here as it breaks these last areas. And for example, this is how I would set up my short. I would want my entry to be here, and I would want my stop to be obviously here, fair value gap, and I want my TP to come down here. Just these previous lows, right? Almost are, if you want a 1 to 2 exactly, right? It'll be down here, 1 to 2 ratio. Okay. So say get into the trade. I'm at 500 real fast on this trade. Time wise, it's been I entered the trade at 9:50. I made 500 by 9:58. So in 8 minutes, I'm up $500. Okay. So like I said, the stuff that I'm showing y'all is the legit stuff that works, right? I can show you on, that's what I'm saying. Anybody can pick any, I think somebody said silver, right? So let me go to silver. I can pick any chart and do this. And no, I'm not the richest person in the world or the smartest person in the world. I'm better than anybody. No, I see the market a little clearer, you know, than a lot of people. I just can't help it. I just do the way my brain functions. So instead of me being selfish, I chose to help people understand how I see things, right? So like I said, all right, if these are, for example, let's do it again. Let's draw it, right? If up here is our sellers, right? And we know this, the first 15 minutes of market give us our order. These are sellers at the top. These are buyers at the bottom, right? For example. So we have our sellers and buyers at the top and bottom. We already know this for our trade, right? What do we look for? Indication. And once we get our indication, we know we're looking for the trade in that direction, right? Do you jump into the trade right away? If you want to, right? But I recommend if you do that, don't go heavy into the trade right away if you're chasing a trade. Go super light. Go light when you chase a trade. You still can be correct, but don't go heavy until a trade when you chase it, right? So, for example, it does this. I got 2 minutes left. Okay. And then after this, I'm just talk to you answer your question. Say it does this indication right here and kind of pulls down just a little bit, right? So we know what we're looking for.
Let's retest. Let's go retest.
You know you're looking for a trade to go down. We already get our indication, right? So if you want to jump in right away, you can. You don't have to. But our indication was already for our sellers, right? It came up, grabbed liquidity from its fair value gaps. Let me show you. Let me take up the indicator real quick so you can see. Right? So it already gave us our correction, which was here. So it came down, corrected here, and then it came back. Right? If I look at the line chart, this line chart helps sometimes too. If I look at the line, not really. I mean, well, kind of here on the line chart. Correct it here a little bit, as you see. So I just use different time frames, different charts, and I'll practice on things I don't use every day. You want to study on NQ and gold and silver and the things that we use daily. But I'm telling you, if you practice on charts, like if we go to Bitcoin and Ethereum, I can do the same thing on charts where you shouldn't be able to chart, right? You shouldn't be able to mark up Bitcoin. But I can do Bitcoin just like the same way I do Tesla, the same way I do silver, the same way I do gold, the same way I do NQ, right? And then we also know NQ is QQQ, is NAS 100, is, all the same things. So with those charts being, I'm going to show you right now. So if I say NQ, so if we're on MNQ, this is the chart for MNQ, right? Hold on, let me put the candles back. So you see it? All right, this is how it looks, right? The entry for MNQ is this. Let me go to QQQ, which is a stock, right? If we go to this ETF, look at this. Same exact chart, same exact entry, same exact setup, right? Literally broke below, or you can see my hand. Sorry. It breaks below. It breaks below on a 15-minute. It corrects, and it continues to fall. But if somebody say, well, I don't do Forex, I mean, they say I don't do options, I don't do stocks, and I don't do futures, I do Forex. Okay, cool. So that's NAS 100. I'll go to NAS 100 and I'll show you the chart. Look what it look like. Same exact setup, nothing different. So I don't even do Forex like that. I'm still learning things, but I not look at every chart because I practice so much. So even myself, the stuff that I send you in the chat, I practice every single day. Every time I see a video from side pops up, I read the chart. Every time he posts a trade, the first thing I do is I break down the trade and I look at every single thing that he has in the trade. And the first thing somebody asks me is, what time frame do you use? The first thing you look at the chart, at the very top of every single chart is the time frame on every single trade somebody pulled out. So that shouldn't be something I ask me. That should be something I recognize right away. Okay, cool. He's in a forward time frame. He's in gold. He's in a buy. He's in a sell. It's consolidating here. It's down. Is a market structure to the downside? Like, look, all right. For example, NAS 100 right now, right? Somebody asked how you find a market structure. So we have a little. Look at this. Look, market structure.
Order filled.
Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, low low. Right. So somebody said, is it a buy or a sell? I would say, what is the market structure looking like? It's clearly a sell. And this is on a 1 minute. So sometimes you don't have to wait for these giant long time frames. Okay. Yeah, give me 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So everything is content, so I had to make a video real quick. But yeah, that's me breaking everything down for y'all. We're gonna go with indication every single day. So people understand that is the first step of the trade, right? And then the indication, I mean, the market structure is just downtrend, uptrend, consolidation, right? So the way I broke down uptrend and downtrend to help me make the trade easier, this is how I call it, right? If it's going down, if it's on a downtrend, it's going downhill. If it's on an uptrend, it's going uphill. If it's going sideways, it's going treadmill. Right? If it's on the treadmill and it's going sideways, it's not going anywhere. It has to pick a side. It has to. So that's how I look at it. So it's either downhill, uphill, or treadmill. But yeah, I'm done, everybody. I'm done. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, any questions, please let me know.